nerding out a bit. It's the best time.
It's fun, and there's actually results this weekend too.
Yeah, yeah. Last week there wasn't much going on. I was gonna tell you, so I was about to go run this morning, and my neighbors like their dogs are like just kind of been annoying since we've lived here. And I look out the window. I'm publishing a podcast, got the baby, and I look out the window, and all three of their dogs are just like running around on the street, like they had gotten out. And
Like
one of
no
them's
leash
German.
or in the street.
They're just running around the street, yeah. And they're like, the smallest of them is an Australian Shepherd. The other two, German Shepherd, and the other one's bigger than a German Shepherd, but I don't know what breed it is. The German Shepherd is very mean, like growls, shows teeth, uh, not trained. So I was like, man, the first kid or person walking their dog that walks by here is cooked. But the German Shepherd knows me and doesn't like me. So I was like, I cannot go run till this thing goes in back in the fence. So fortunately, they wrangled him up. But it's a funny start to the morning for sure.
How often do you get chased by actual dogs? Often?
Yeah, probably once a week. Yeah,
Yeah, at least.
I usually I know how to handle it now. Like I have a friend. He's always like, the best way to handle that is just to keep running and pay no attention to it. In my opinion, that's how you get your calf ripped out. Is they you want if they chase you, I usually stop, yell at it, go back, whatever, and then usually it backs off. Dogs don't like aggression, so that's usually what I do. What do you do?
That's been my switch in the past few years. Is I have no shame anymore. I get like super loud, yell at the dog. Usually like stop
Oh yeah,
and no. That like that a dog's gonna know those words, like stop and no. So yell it like as loud as I can, and I've never had one. Actually, once ever I had a dog bite me, and it was like the tiniest dog in the world. Um,
uh,
and the owner was out in the front yard with the dog and was like, just stand still, like don't move at all. And I did exactly what he said. And this like tiny little Chihuahua type dog bit me like right on my shin. Um,
draw blood.
and then yeah, drew blood. And the guy goes right into the house with the dog. And I started to jog away. And then I started to be like, I should at least ask, like, does the dog have all of its shots? So
Yeah,
I went back to the house, knocked on the door, and the guy was very nice and apologetic, but I wanted to make sure that I didn't have anything to worry about.
yeah. I mean, usually a dog, if it had rabies, it would die like after 2 days. Like any animal would like
Yeah.
die pretty quickly. So odds are, if a dog bites you, it doesn't have rabies, but you never know. Yeah, it's good to ask. Um, one more thing I was gonna tell you about before we get going on the pod is that Josh McMillan called me this morning. Update on his travel across Canada. I was telling you about that, wasn't I?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Uh, so I hope Josh doesn't mind me sharing this, but he is settled in Quebec City, so French area of Canada, and he's got an apartment there. He
Oh,
said
no
he
way.
speaks good. Yeah, he like got a job at a restaurant. It's all French speaking. He's like okay at French, but not fluent. And he's gonna be like our media guy at Indy. I
Yep.
was like, you know, I don't care what the cost is. I need Josh McMillan at the Indy Marathon because he just brings the vibes, man. I love him. Um, and so he called me and he said, "Hey, I'm gonna fly into Louisville so I can like drive with you to Indy." And I was like, "Let's
Oh,
do it."
that's
So I get to.
awesome.
So he's gonna hang out here for a couple of days before we go up to Indy, and then he's gonna be at Indy with us all weekend. So it's gonna be sweet.
I was
It's gonna be a good time.
I was texting him a bit. He reached out to wish me a happy birthday, and we were talking about Indy, and he is the ultimate hype man. And
Yeah,
I didn't know he was in Quebec City though. I have only heard that that is one of the coolest places ever, and it feels like you're in Europe.
yeah. I mean, yeah, the French settled it, so it's a very like I'll pull up a couple photos here. It's a very Euro city, so yeah, I really hadn't looked at it until here's like some I'll zoom in on a couple of these, but yeah, this is like
Yeah,
the like one that you'll see a lot. I mean, yeah, it's very Euro. Like if you showed me that, I would think you're like in Prague or something, but
yeah,
no, it's like north or yeah, I guess like northeastern Canada. So
yeah.
brutal winters though. He said no. he said people there have said, "Don't commit to living in Quebec City until you spent 1 winter here, and then decide if you're gonna stay." So the winter is really
Really?
bad. Yeah. So, but he has lived in this, like, horrible, like, northern, province, like, city, like, tiny city where it's, like, -40 Fahrenheit in the winter and stuff for, like, a winter, so yeah, so if he can handle that, he can handle
Can
this.
make it through that.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll be just fine. So, anyway, those are my 2 random thoughts, before we dive into normal stuff, running
I
stuff.
love it.
So what's the training update? Tell the people about your 8-mile race.
We had 2 races since the last time I was on with you, but
5K
just
too, yeah.
just yeah, we got the 5K and then the 8 mile. So, yesterday was an 8 miler. It's on like a crushed gravel rail bed out and back trail with a little bit of elevation gain for 4 miles, and then you get a little bit of loss on the way back. Um, it is a very small race. So it's like 50 something people run it. It's not typically competitive. I've run it for 5 times and I've won it 4, I think.
Nice.
Um, so but no, but I mean, it's the type of race that, if you're under 50 minutes for the 8 miles, like, you're gonna place really well. So,
Mhm.
it's really a fun run, but, it's put on by one of the clubs up here, Onto Our Runners Club, and, they do a good job. So I this is actually part of my question here about I wanted to talk to you about down weeks, but, like, I
Oh,
went into
good.
this race with, like, I think it was ended up being a 94-mile week, but out of the past, 14 weeks, I've run between, like, 90 and 105 every week. So I
Yeah.
really never felt sharp. So, like, the 5K went well and the 8 mile went well. I ran 5:30 pace for the 8 mile, but I closed well, which was all I really wanted to do. I didn't really want to, like, have it be a full out race effort. It was like, let's race for the win. It's a big mileage week and close hard. So I pretty much rolled like 5:25 to 5:35 for most miles and closed in 5:16. Which, on the surface, like crushed gravel, running alone, um, no taper, like all the context makes me feel better about it.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, the 5K, that was the Hudson Valley Track Club's like first, almost similar to the Life in Stride track meet.
Yeah.
Dude, it was really fun. We had to move it because there were thunderstorms the day we were supposed to have it. So you're
Yeah.
supposed to do it on Wednesday, and it was like a really bad day, so we had to move it to Thursday. Um, and I think it hurt numbers a little bit, but not crazy. We had like 40 something people sign up and about like probably 30 on the actual day of the race.
That's
Um,
great.
it was good. We had a pacer for the front to basically run about 5-minute pace for 2 miles. So I felt good through about like a mile and a half, like right on that 5-minute pace. I thought on a good day I could run like 15:40. Um,
Yeah.
and I ended up running 15:59, which is my PR. And
Had it.
not from like exactly. I ran that about a year ago and then I ran it again at this race. So I felt like I was in shape to run faster, but like again, it was probably like a 90 something mile week and I didn't really let up going into it. And that's kind of on me. Like I have a hard time sometimes letting go of the
Me
mileage.
too. Me too.
Yeah. So
And
that's
you
like sort
you
of been
you
on
had
my
to pass a
mind.
lot of people in that race too.
Oh, this was funny. I think I texted you this, but I
Oh,
sent
yeah.
the results to Claude to be like, how many people did I pass? Because it felt like I passed like 30 to 40 people. And my wife is like, no way. There's no way you passed that many people. And that's just meaning like, I lapped several people several times because we just did light
Yeah.
heat. It's like the sun was going down and we didn't want it to get dark on us. Um, and Claude's like, you passed somebody on the right 39 times. And so it's like that could add up to, 10 seconds or more. And that sounds generous, but it did throw me off. Like every time in the beginning, it's not as big of a deal. Like you don't, you're kind of in a good rhythm, but towards the end of the race, like you're swinging out wide every time, and it starts to get difficult. Like your form gets thrown off a teeny bit, like it's in your head a little bit, just sort of breaks the rhythm. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
but
Yeah. That that was a good thing about ours. We had like enough people for 2 heats, but also the high school coach was there, so we had access to the lights, so that made it because it's tough in the summer. You want to have it late enough where it's cool enough, but also
yeah,
you want to like beat the darkness. But yeah, fortunately we had the lights, but we didn't really need them. And it rained right before the track meet, so the weather ended up being like much cooler than the other days surrounding it, so it worked out well. But uh, yeah, that's cool. We both kind of hosted the first annual 5K track meet, so we'll see if we
yeah.
can grow and make them huge.
I got to come to Louisville next year.
Yeah, you should. I'm hoping we can get like our the furthest person was from Blacksburg, Virginia. Came all the way from Blacksburg, Virginia for the 5K. So a shout out. He
Yeah,
got fourth place. So
that's awesome.
yeah, 15, 20 something. So pretty good.
But
So you wanted to talk about down weeks?
yeah, so I guess my question, like, at what point in your training do you ever, I guess is the question, like force yourself to take a down week? Because I've found it really easy through like the fall, the winter, and the spring to just be like, oh, I'm getting sick, I'm gonna take a day off.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
like you get a virus and you have a fever and you take 2 days off. And then it's like in the summer, it's a lot harder because you're not sick as often. You or I work in a school, so I have time off. Like I can run a lot and I can do it uninterrupted. And it's like I've always struggled with this. And I've been running for a really long time, but it's like, do you force yourself to take a down week, or do you just roll with it because you're recovering between sessions and you feel pretty good? Um, but then I look back at a 5K and I'm like, oh man, maybe I could have run 15 seconds faster if I took like a day off and then ran, eight,
yeah,
6 miles heading into the race or something like that.
yeah. It's tough. Like in a speed block, I normally, we're a bit lower volume than because you've gone up to like 115, 120. So yeah, in a speed block, I normally wouldn't like assign down weeks unless someone was like, I really need one, or like I really want to focus this race, or like this race is very important to me. Then we'll go down. I think like going forward, there's some very like obvious choices week wise for down weeks for you. And one would be next week since or the following week, not next week, but the following week,
Yeah.
the run for the river half. I think that would be like a pretty natural like down week one because you're in great shape. Let's get a good, half marathon at the beginning of the block, coming off a really good speed block. And then the next like natural one would be week 7 of the block, 928 week going into the wine glass half.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Agreed.
then from that race, then we start the 3 peak week. So like that's a pretty good down week anyway, as we're building up to the 3 peak weeks to take a down week there. So I think those are two like
Yeah.
pretty, but yeah, I do think you don't necessarily unless there's like a really a race you like want to circle on the calendar to like um have really good legs for. I think during the speed block for someone like you, we don't necessarily need to take targeted ones, like I said, unless there's like a race that you really want to focus on. So I guess maybe we could have for that 5K, right? So to try and maybe run a little faster. But yeah, I mean, for someone like you, I don't worry as much. I think in a marathon build too, it's more the long run intensity needs to ebb and flow because if you are like you can't have like a really hard long run every weekend. Like one needs to be like steady or like that kind of like more moderate effort. And then the other one, every other week, then you can do something a little harder, marathon pace work, etc. So I think you just need to be careful with how hard the long runs are and like the overall training load for the week versus worrying about the overall volume for someone like you. But because like 80% of your week is like easy volume. So, but then
Yeah.
for a newer runner, I think it's more important for sure to have those like down weeks because they're just I don't know if they're pretty new to the sport, building up mileage for the first time really ever. Got to be a little more careful, but yeah, for you, I mean, it makes sense for those two half marathons. Like those come at pretty good times to take down weeks and kind of test the fitness.
Yeah.
So those are, I think we'll definitely do that. Cut the volume a bit. Say Sky is a community centered premium performance brand based out of Copenhagen, Denmark. Results are important, but they also believe in enjoying the process, being with people, and having memorable experiences. The running apparel is stylish without sacrificing any technical performance. I use my Say Sky half tights for everyday training, but I also know that they are the best choice on race day when it comes to comfort, storing fueling, and performance. Whether you're a recreational or elite runner, like neutral or colorful running clothes, Saysky has options to fit your training and racing needs. New collections and limited drops are released throughout each year. Visit saysky.com and use code STRIDE15, that is STRIDE 15, for 15% off of Saysky purchases online.
Yeah, it's easier to make the decision when you have something, like, good to circle like that, like a half day
Yeah.
is important and you know it's gonna be competitive and, like, fingers crossed time of year is pretty good and you get good weather. I think it's harder in the summer to, like, build a down week into a week where you're like, "Ah, it could be 80 degrees for this race." Like, it might not really be worth the squeeze to take the time. But,
Yeah.
I agree with you. In an actual training block, building it around races is the best way to do it, or it's my favorite way to do it rather.
One easy way for me, yeah, I'm looking at the good thing with your training was like over, your graph is very consistent, but like there's a lot of like kind of up at like, yeah, 93, 90, 94, 95, 92, 101. So there were some weeks we won like, like 105 a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago. So like, it wasn't like over 100 every week. There was like some variation. So, yeah, so that was good. Not every like weekend had like really long runs and stuff. I think it's really easy too for people like over summer. Naturally, they'll go on vacation, and that's like a super like almost everyone I coach was like, "Hey, like, can I have a down week this week? I'm going to Florida with my family," something like that.
Yeah.
I know me and you, like, if we're going on vacation, we're still going to run 100 miles. So, but
I'm
with,
like, "Oh, it's a training camp."
yeah, I mean, yeah, like it's, it's tough. Like, when I went to Europe this past year, I still try to get in a ton of training. So, yeah, I don't know, but it is a totally reasonable ask to be like, "Hey, I'm going on family vacation. We're in the summer block. We're not anywhere close to my A marathon. Can I like focus on my family this week and cut the volume like to 70%?" Like,
Yeah.
definitely yes, let's do it. So,
100% agree.
that's an easy one to do. But no, I think like, yeah, maybe we could like circled that 5K a little more and like cut the mileage going into that some. But overall, I think the speed block and just like the overall consistency you put in this summer is just going to lead to massive rewards in the fall. And we'll take a couple key down weeks in the fall to get the legs fresh. But I think you built like a pretty crazy foundation for the fall. So it's good stuff.
Nah, it's been a good summer for sure.
Yeah,
How,
you some good speed workouts, bro. Some really good speed workouts.
how are you feeling?
I'm
You're
feeling
inside of
good.
8 weeks, right? Is it even
We're
less than that?
6, yeah, 6 weeks. Yeah.
6 weeks.
Yeah, we're over halfway on the build for 12-week build. But yeah, I'm feeling good. I mean, I've hit everything been assigned, and the training's getting pretty hard now. Like this week, I have a like 15K tempo at like 5:20, and then 5K a little faster. So that's going to be miserable. And then I have a 24-mile long run this weekend with like 18 steady. So yeah, we're getting to the nitty gritty time of the block. So
Oh, the
time to
15K, 5K is a midweek workout?
that's a midweek workout. Yeah, that's a
Oh,
midweek
that's a
workout.
that's a tough midweek workout.
I know. I was like, man, I think I have another one similar to that later on too. But yeah, and
Those are the hardest for me. I've always found the midweek tempos to be really, really tough.
dude, they are like you really got to circle tempos on a calendar, especially how I like to do them where it's like a little faster than marathon pace. Yeah, you really gotta. I mean, it's not like a race effort, but they're not easy. Like they're really not easy. So, yeah, everyone like knows when they see if I break it up like that's easier. But if it's just like an extended like 6 to 8 mile tempo, yeah, those are not fun. So, but they are very beneficial. So, but yeah, it's gonna hurt. Training's going good though. I hit 115 last week. Achilles is on the rise. It still hurts some days, but it's much better for sure. Like there's no limping, there's no uh I don't know. Like I wouldn't say it's really affecting training anymore. It's just some days kind of annoying, but
Mm.
yeah, I'm not super worried about it.
Mine
Um
has been kind of bad.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's fine. It's
Uh,
actually not really bothering me when I'm running, but when I'm getting up at like when I get up after we're done with this pod, like it's gonna feel pretty bad. And when I get up in the middle of the night, it does not feel good.
that's when it
Running has
bugs me the
been
most
okay.
too.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
But
yeah, if you go run and then you chill for a while, like don't move for a while, like if I'm active after a run walking around, it's pretty good. Like it's fine because it stays loose. But yeah, the second you run and then you chill for a bit and then it tightens up, yeah, no good. It's go to sleep, no good. So yeah, the warm up routine is very important. I've learned for
yeah,
the Achilles. So, but strength work, ISO holds, heavy calf raises, yeah, that stuff is working. Mobo board is helpful as well. I found so just
I
gonna
have
keep
one of
doing
those.
that.
I have to bust it out more.
Yeah, I'm just doing like you just stand on it, obviously one leg, and like just go back and forth like really slowly, like without holding on to anything, and it like really works
Mhm.
the ankle, like the muscles around it. So yeah, feels good. Feels like a lot better when I get off it. So got to do that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'll be like 120 next week. That'll be my highest week, I think. And then I was working out this past weekend. I was doing a classic Canova 8x1K on off, and a couple recent college grads 401 miler, and like a guy that just ran 2940 in the 10K in track season this year. And it went really well. Like I was hanging with them pretty nicely, and uh, they were both working for sure. So that felt pretty good because it was hot.
Yeah.
We were rolling like 510, 515 for the ons and like 605, 610 for the offs. So yeah, that felt good that I was hanging with like the young whippersnappers, out there, the fresh out of college guys that are in pretty good shape. So yeah, getting some good indications. You just uh I don't really have a good half tune up race or anything to look forward to. So we're gonna go into Berlin and just see what happens. So
Yeah,
but
you'll
I'm
be all
excited.
I mean, that's I you've raced enough in the past year.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
need to be reminded what it's like. You'll be all right.
Yeah, I had the 5K and the 10K on 4th of July at
Mhm.
least, so raced some this summer, and both of those went well. 5K went great, so uh, yeah, I think that'll be enough to get it done. We'll see. Got a
Yeah.
couple workouts that are pretty much going to be like pretty good tune-ups anyway, so be good. Anything else on training before we breeze through Euros here real quick?
No, I don't think so.
Nice. All right, let's do it. All right. I just highlighted, we won't talk about every distance race, but just some of the highlights from Euros. I think obviously like, well, yeah, I mean, Jakob was the highlight for sure, right? That's what everyone wanted to see. How would Jakob fare in his first race back? He did, I mean, really well. Like, it wasn't a super fast race, but it wasn't a slow race, and
Mhm.
wasn't the best competition in the world, but it wasn't the worst. It's pretty good comp in there. And he was boxed in with 100 to go and absolutely smoked the field the last 100. So, and he's in two diamond leagues later this month. So I think he's in like Silesia, which is in Poland, I think. And then he's doing Zurich, both 1500s, both against Cole Hawker. So, um, what do you think of Jakob, and what do you expect against like better competition in the next couple of races?
I I wonder if the 5K is his best event. He's dominates. Like every time he runs a 5K, he's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just like in so many of the and who knows, maybe the Achilles thing was like a really big problem for a while and like y- now that that's out of the way, he'll be better off, but he just like seemed it sounds crazy to say it, but like out of his league in the final 100 with Hawker and Kerr and, all Yared and, Whiteman.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in the 5K, he just seems so untouchable. Um, so
Agree.
I thought he would win that race. I didn't think he was going to line up to just sort of like see how it goes. I felt that he was ready. Um,
Yeah.
and I kind of expect that he'll be competitive in the 1500s. I don't really think that he's at the point where he's gonna, like, dominate the 1500 the way he used to. I would put
Okay.
my money on Hawker and a lot of the other guys, but, I don't know,
Yeah.
man. How do you don't know. He just might be crazy fit and ready to go, but,
He,
I would
yeah,
take the other
he might
guys.
be. Yeah, I think Hawker was like almost there, pre-classic, not quite. I think he
Mhm.
ran like 346, which is so, it's been a while since then. Almost 2 months by the time he's on the 1500 start line with Jakob. So I think he's going to be probably 328, 1500 shape at least. And then, uh, yeah, like I could see Jakob being like 329, like high maybe kind of shape. But yeah, you're right. Like he's one of the best ever for sure. So like talent level wise, and he just ran. I mean, Jimmy Gressier tried to squeeze him the last K at Euros, and he beat a lot of great guys like Brem, the guy that got second, to sub 13 guy. Like uh, the guy that got second in the 5K last year at Worlds was in the race too. So I mean, Jakob made him look like fools out there. So I don't. Yeah, I don't want to doubt him, but yeah, if I had to put my life on it, I'd say Hawker's probably going to beat him in the 15. So
Yeah, it is interesting though, right? Because 'Cause you'd think that the kick would take a little bit longer to develop, like, he's so
yeah,
aerobically strong, and he could probably have or, cross-trained aerobically a lot better than he could work on top end speed coming back off the injury, and he was still able to outkick all those guys, and
yeah,
I forget what the final 100 was. I know you
it's
had
like
said it on the pod.
12.59 or
Yeah.
12.6, something like
Yeah.
that was fast.
I
Yeah,
mean, it's really good. But,
yeah,
we also talked about this. It's like, Hawker and Nagoose, they skipped USAs in, probably to be more prepared for these Diamond League races.
yeah.
So I'm excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm assuming there's a Diamond League final this year, which is always at its best when there's no worlds. So we'll see. And we also have the Road World Running Champs. Yeah, World Road Running Champs. Yeah, I'm not used to like saying that because it's like still a new thing, but because I've only had it like once or twice, I think now. But yeah, that's coming up soon too. So that'll be like a championship to look forward to outside of Euros, Com Games, and then the Diamond League final. So we'll see some good competition there on the roads as well. But uh, I'm curious to see what track guys will go to that. I'm assuming like Almgren will probably go and like run the 5K, and
Mhm.
Gressier, a bunch of top East Africans. So that should be pretty fun. Uh, but yeah, I think yeah, the rest of the Diamond League season should be like pretty good because I think I am curious if Kerr, like how much Kerr lines up as well against these guys because I mean, if you really think about it, he ran a bunch of like more low key US meets, went and broke the world record, then like dominated com games, but he hasn't raced
Dominated.
against like
Yeah.
Cam Myers was in that race and he crushed him, but we haven't seen him against like Hawker Nagoose. Laros was out for the season, but like Jakob, like Hawker, I don't know. Like I want to
That's what
see him
we all
against
want.
the guys. Yeah,
Yeah. We
yeah.
want all of them in a race in a 1500 going for the world record with the pace lights on, right?
Yeah, and well, he needs that would be awesome. But Kerr does need to qualify for the Diamond League final. I think they have discretion maybe to pick one or two people, but you do need Diamond League points. But I think they have discretion to add a couple people, so he might be fine. We'll see. I think the world record in the miles enough discretion to or enough brownie points to get him in.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Another like race I thought was interesting was Andreas Almgren in the 10K. Their first K was very slow, and then he just like pushed
Yeah.
pace from there in 27:20 something, won by like 40 seconds. Jimmy Gressier, the reigning world 10K champ, was in the race. Granted, he ran the 5K and Almgren didn't, but yeah, pretty legit race from Almgren, man, to go out there and solo like that. Uh, Pretty impressive stuff. I feel like he doesn't quite have the closing speed. He needs to like win a world level title, but winning Euros is legit for sure. So, and I think if whenever he decides to go to the marathon, which I think he will soon, I think he's going to be very good at the marathon. Like he could run like 2:03, I think. So
Yeah.
maybe that's a hot
Yeah.
take. I don't know.
No, I agree. He's got such good form. Like
Smooth,
he's
bro.
so beautiful and smooth on the track. I mean, his 8th K was 2:34. That's
Yeah.
like so
Yeah.
nasty.
That's
Like
crazy.
completely alone, right? Like he's I agree with you. I think he'll be a great marathoner. I hope that he goes to that sooner. I I, I guess he's probably going to stay on the track for the Olympics, but after that,
I would
be
think.
nice to see him go to the road.
Yeah. Do you know he had like 10 Nomios and pumping through his veins for that race? It's a Nomio's a
Is that for
Swedish
real?
brand. Oh no, no, no. I'm sure he just had one, but I was just saying they're a Swedish brand and they love their
Oh, that's
Almgren for
right.
sure, bro. Yeah, Nomio loves Almgren. So yeah, I'm sure he had one in there though. I'm sure all the racers had one in there. So
Yeah, but
yeah.
what if he took 10? Then what?
It is does does beg the question, would it be beneficial to take more than one Nomio before a race? Who knows?
I
Or maybe make
I
more.
think I remember reading that it is not because it basically just like activates a pathway and it's like you can't like oversac.
Overactivated, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so you just be wasting $7 every time you did that,
Yeah.
pretty much. I have a friend. I lent him a couple. I didn't lend him. I gave him them because you can't loan Nomios because you know you don't get them back once you give them away. But uh, yeah, his like middle school daughter has taken him a couple races, and he said like she's just PR and like crazy taking them, and I was like, it's probably not fully the Nomeo. She probably like put in a solid summer, but he was like, yeah, it's like he said it's like her thing now. Like she has to have it before a race. So
Yeah.
I I was like, I'll give you a couple more, but eventually you're gonna have to buy your own. They're $7 a pop. So, um, but anyway, the last couple races, Aguero won the women's 800, beat Bull and Hodgkinson. That was like probably the most, I mean, highly anticipated 800 of the year so far on the women's side. And, Hodgkinson's from the UK. So, and the champs was in Manchester, right? So
Mhm.
it was in the UK. Oh, yeah, because Commonwealth Games was in Glasgow. So
Yeah.
yeah. So the UK got to hold two major championships this year, which was cool. But yeah, so Wero like proves I think she's definitely winning that race proves she's the best 800 runner in the world right now, I would say. So thank you to Kalo for sponsoring the podcast. We now have a 10% off link in the show notes for you to try your own Kalo Current Smart Ring. Marathon training is simple. Train to your fitness level, go easy on easy days, and push hard on hard days, and never skip your long runs. But how do you really know if you're getting the most out of it without a clear view of how your body's responding? That's where the Kalo Current Smart Ring comes in. Engineered by Kalo, the pioneer in silicone rings for hardworking, active lifestyles. I've been wearing my gold Kalo Current Slim Ring for about 6 months now during my training, and it gives me the clearest picture of my movement, vitality, and sleep compared to any other health tracking device I've tried. By focusing on these metrics, I can easily spot if I'm overtraining or nailing the right intensity for marathon prep. The app's sleek design turns all that data into something super digestible so I can tweak my training on the fly. Plus, for all the marathon moms out there, the Kalo app includes fertility tracking and stroller activities. Head to kalo.com, that's QALO.com to grab one. The Kalo Current Slim Ring is now available at walmart.com and at select Walmart stores. Yeah.
It was so impressive. She held it from like 500 out.
Yeah.
And I thought for sure watching that race that Keely was going to kick her down. Um,
It was close.
it's actually
Yeah.
it's actually crazy watching Femke Bol, like she looks
Yeah.
so easy running,
Yeah.
and like compared to everyone else in the field. And it's I know she's tall, so she's like got that big like bounding stride,
Yeah.
but like her face has like no distress on it whatsoever, and every single other person's like tying up and looks like they're in excruciating pain, and um like
Yeah.
obviously, I know she's running as hard as she can, but it still makes me be like, she's gonna get faster and she's gonna get better. Like, she's still learning the event, I think.
I was gonna like just give her one more year,
Yeah.
and I think she's like she might be the best in the world. She might pass Wero. I just think she probably for so long has been focusing more on anaerobic stuff, doing 400 hurdles and 400. But yeah, just give her like a little more time to like get a little. You don't need like a crazy aerobic base for the 8, but you need a little one for sure. So, like I think Donovan Brazier, they asked him once, like, "What's the furthest you've ever run?" And he was like 8 miles, something like that. Like, you didn't
Yeah.
do like long runs, so you don't need like she doesn't need to be out there doing like 16-mile long runs, but she's probably implementing more just like overall
Mhm.
volume into her training, and that just is going to take a little time to get the base. So yeah, I think next year she could be a world beater, and like I think she should have the best odds right now for the LA games. That could be a hot take, but I think,
Wow.
in my opinion, I
That
think she has
is
the best odds. Yeah,
over
that's
Wero.
what I think. Yeah, unless I mean Waro's
Interesting.
going to improve too, probably, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think Bull's got the most upside. Just like changing events like that and being already pretty good at it. Yeah, I think
Mhm.
she's got the most upside. So we'll see. We'll see. Unless McLa- unless Sydney McLaughlin follows suit, then I
Oh
think
my
she's
gosh, could you imagine?
that'd be sick. That'd be really sick. Last two events, we can just kind of scroll over these. The men's 1500, Stefan Nilsson won. Not super familiar with him. Jake
Yeah.
Whiteman was in this race. Expected him to win. No Josh Kerr. I think Whiteman got fourth. So yeah, pretty impressive win from Stefan Nilsson. Solid field. Uh, and then yeah, the marathons. I forgot there was marathons at Euros, but Emmanuel Petros was definitely the favorite in the men's race. Won in 209 of Germany. And then I've actually heard of this girl, Elisa Vainio of Finland, won the women's race in 222. I want to say she's like got a European record or something in the marathon, or she's very good. Yeah, her PB is, let's see. Yeah, it's 220. So she has the Finnish record, of course, but I don't know if that's a European record or not. But yeah, 220:39, very fast. I mean,
Mm. Yeah.
that's right on with the top American women. So yeah, she's very good. So good to see her
What has
win.
Petros run before? Has he run 204?
Yeah, 204. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amaral Petros. I think he's done that at Valencia or Berlin. He was not on the start list for the Germans for Berlin, if I was right. Yeah, 204:03 at Valencia. Um
Yeah.
59:22 half guy as well. Very fast. Um yeah, I think Berlin came out with the German start list for um Berlin, and I don't think he was on it, which I was surprised by because I feel like he would
Yeah, run the
I,
hometown race, right?
yeah, and he's an Adidas athlete too, but maybe he's doing focusing on Valencia again, wants to break 204 or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
So
a little close maybe to Euros.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it is close for sure. But yeah, those are kind of my Euro highlights. Um, did you a couple more quick topics, and we'll talk about some training stuff. Did you see the Jonah Koech like drama? Did you read about that on Let's Run at all?
Yeah, yes.
What'd you? e- I mean, I think he's screwed himself regardless if he was doing it or not. Like he admitted to it. 3-year ban. It's really hard. Like you saw it was like it's a done deal. He admitted to it. Like there's nothing,
Yeah.
and it's just like yeah, like he probably can't do anything. But and he was DMing that random person on Instagram. I can't afford the attorney, uh, which I don't know. It's like I feel like a $50,000 attorney to defend this is like has to be like the most high tier attorney. Like surely there is
Yeah.
other options, but um his argument was interesting. Like to this random Instagram user, he was like, "These are my normal hemoglobin levels. This is what I tested." And then he was like, "It depends on what altitude I'm at," which I'm sure like that does affect your hemoglobin levels, but I don't know. I feel like if you're not guilty, like I would rather like say I'm not guilty and maybe and like try to fight back instead of just being like, like 3 years is better than 4, and everyone's gonna think I'm a doper now. So I don't know. I just think I don't know. I'm like 50-50 back and forth in my head if he actually did it, but I think if he didn't do it, he definitely should not have done what he did and like take
Correct.
the 3 years. So I don't know. What do you think?
I can't imagine being not guilty and admitting that I did it so quickly.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. I feel like he probably did. And when you just look at, like, the the trail of numbers, like his PRs, and then sort of disappearing and then running what? He went from, like, 3:37 to, like, 3:30? Like,
330
did
in a
he
year.
crack it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That
He
just
beat
sounds fishy.
Did he beat Hawker, Naguse, Kessler,
Kessler.
Ethan Strand, like, at
Yep.
that US final, and that was for a team, like, that was a
Mhm.
legit US
Yeah.
final, so he came out of nowhere. So
You know what I found really interesting? I was thinking about this because it was like, okay, Strand will get a gold medal, and Hocker will get a silver, and Hobbs will get a bronze. And it's
yeah,
like, you can't send Hobbs retroactively to the world championship. But it's weird, like when you look at what happened with the women's marathon world record going down in Chicago, and
yeah,
then that was Chepngetich, right?
yeah,
Is
yep.
that who that was? And then like she gets popped, but why does that record still get to stand? And then in this scenario, it's like, oh well, those results don't count anymore. Like I
Yeah,
find that so interesting.
I wonder if maybe the testing that he did was before, like, shortly after that, and they just, like,
Mm,
came to the conclusion, I don't or, like, I don't know. Yeah, I wondered that too because, yeah, you're right, I mean, that wouldn't really be fair or make sense, so, um, yeah, I
yeah,
don't know, maybe they tested, like, shortly after and or shortly before, and then they, like, just got to it or something. I don't know how it works, but
it could be. Yeah, sometimes there's a lot of lag on the testing, and they run it through maybe a few different labs to make sure. But
yeah. Yeah, I know
that
they, like,
that one,
store samples too, so
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know.
yeah, the biological passport is, I guess, what they're looking at there, right? Saying like your
Yeah.
hemoglobin numbers are way higher now than they were then. I don't know.
Yeah. He pointed out to that random Instagram user that their page was like slow pace 69, which is hilarious that he was like telling this whole story to this random user. But he compared it. There's like a Kenyan athlete that got popped for the same thing, and she was able to prove her innocence. Um, so he was like, it's the exact same like situation that she had. So, and there's been US athletes that like you remember Aji Wilson, like she got
Hmm.
popped for like this tainted meat situation, and they cleared her pretty quickly, and no one ever looks down on her career at all or talks bad about her, and as they shouldn't. I mean, she just had like meat at a restaurant or bought it at the store, and there was no intention to dope. So yeah, and there was no performance benefit from that either. But yeah, I don't know. I think I don't know. It's hard to know if he did it or not, like, or think one way or the other. But yeah, if he didn't do it, he like really handled it poorly. So
Yeah,
yeah,
if he didn't do it,
weird
just that
situation.
really sucks. Like that's awful. But
Yeah, it is awful. Yeah,
maybe there's a pro bono lawyer that could have stepped up to the plate and taken care of it. But
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
I mean, you admitted to it. You said you did it. I have to assume he did it.
yeah, yeah. Exactly. I think yeah, you have to assume he did it. So last couple things before we do some training talk. There was an article on Let's Run I saw. Like Michael Johnson said that that Grand Slam track athletes got paid, and the
Yes.
athletes are saying they have not got paid still. They are never going to get paid. They are never
They're
going to
not
get
getting
paid.
paid.
They got to give
No.
up. Yeah, there's no way. So yeah, I mean, this has been going on for so long. I think Grand Slam track had a lot of really great intentions, but I don't know. I think track's just like not popular enough in the US, and it's super popular in Europe. So if they implemented something like that in Europe, it might make more sense. But
Hmm.
they had some key investors pull out at really bad times too. So it's not all Michael Johnson's and the people involved, Kyle Merber's, it's not all their fault. They had they had a key investor pull out after they saw the crowd in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So
They didn't do themselves
yeah,
any favors with the first meet.
no, there was nobody there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy. They had like I mean, they had star fields at that race. So, and I mean, Jamaica loves track,
Yeah.
especially the sprints were like pretty loaded. So it was weird because at Jamaica's like national championships, dude, that stadium is filled to the brim. So yeah, I thought that was weird, but yeah, the U.S. meets had like no crowd either. So yeah, I don't know, sad, but yeah, the athletes are not getting paid for sure. Uh, and then the last thing, this was kind of relevant to fall marathoning for elite US Falmouth Road Race. Did you see the results for that?
Yeah, I had something funny to mention about this because I love Samuel. I think he's like just
Yeah,
really cool, fun guy to watch run.
yeah, he
Um,
is.
he ran what 30, 50, or what did he
Y-
run?
Yeah, I
Um,
think so. Course record, it was like 4:25 pace for 7
yeah,
miles, like
30,
ridiculous.
53. I popped it into the VDOT calculator. I don't know if you did this. So
No.
like that's a hard course and it's hot. It's in the summer. It's the equivalent to a 2:05 marathon.
Wow,
And
dude.
I was like, this guy is going to be so, I mean, he already is, but like, he's going to be so good. Like, he beat Mance, he beat Talby, he beat Kipto, like, he beat so many people.
Yeah, if you look at his PBs, it's no surprise that like this kind of race was really good for him. Like he's a 26:51, 10K, 13, 04, 5K, 59:01 half marathon. I mean, the half and 10K is faster than Zuhair and Mance. So I mean that combination alone is like a 7 mile race. Like, yeah, he should be beating them, but it is crazy, to see him beating names like that. So I don't know if he's going to stay on the track. Like, I mean, surely he can make the Olympics for Eritrea and the 5 and 10 for LA, but I mean, I think he could run, yeah, 204, 205, like first marathon out the gate.
Yeah.
Um, and maybe be make a little more money doing that. So, uh, I don't know who he signed with. He won pro. I don't know what his training situation is, but, or what he's going to do, but yeah. Uh, where do you take any stock in Zuhair beating Mance here, assuming that they're going to race in New York, or nothing to overthink
Nah,
about?
I I would probably take Zuhair over Mance in New York, but not because of this race.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I actually, if anything, I was almost more encouraged to see that Mance was only 2 seconds behind Zuhair with like having had a
yeah.
big injury and Zuhair's been healthy as far as I know. So like if anything, I thought it was a really encouraging result for Mance. But I still think Zuhair is about to do some really special stuff the next few years.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not gonna look too much into this result. Mance said like good rust buster on Strava, and I was like,
Mhm.
yeah, like 4:30 pace for 7 miles, like great rust buster on like a not totally flat course.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think watching them race is gonna be pretty epic though for sure. I'm curious to see how much of Mance we see because Clayton Young's like documentation is back up on uh, for Chicago build. So I'm curious to see
Yeah.
how much of Mance we'll see on that for sure. So I just like curious because it seems like from what we've seen so far, he's like, I think on the first video, he was like pushing paces already and, finishing ahead of the group. You can kind of tell. So seems like he's back doing his typical Mance stuff. So
Right
I'm
where he
not
left
worried
off.
about him. Yeah, he seems like the kind of guy that like once he starts working out after like 2 or 3 workouts, he's just like he can just run like sub 420 pace and
Yeah.
for mile reps or whatever like pretty quickly. So he's just that kind of guy. But yeah, they haven't announced New York yet, but just I doubt Manson, Zuhair do Valencia. Like they're gonna choose a US race because they're gonna make a bunch of money for just showing up at the start line. They're not on the Chicago
Yeah.
start list, so it's pretty obvious they're running New York. So
That's what it
that should be
feels
good.
like.
When we're running through Norton Commons or the Pewee Valley area in Louisville, Kentucky,
It's pretty easy to spot Mason Construction Home. The attention to detail, the quality, the stunning design, you can't miss it, it stands out. We aren't just saying that either. Our own co host Scotty trusted Mason Construction to build his forever home, and he and his family couldn't be happier. Don't tell Scotty this, but we're at his house a lot because we love the home. He's alright too, though. If you live in the Louisville or Southern Indiana area and are thinking about building your forever home or doing a remodel, there is nobody else to trust with this project than Mason Construction. The link to their website is in our show notes. Click on the request information option and start the conversation about what your forever home could look like.
Yeah. So Jess McClain got second to Pamela Koskaya in the women's race, and it was funny. I was watched a couple of Truett's Haynes's videos because he was, Jacob and Rory were featured in them, so I just thought it was funny to see them in his videos. And Truett had said in his video that Jess McClain told him at the start of the long run that she was like not in shape at all. And he was like, "Oh, great. Like, this is good. I'll be able to hang with her." And he said she dropped him like immediately. So, yeah. And it's like clearly she's in pretty good, because that video was like 2 weeks ago. So she's in pretty good shape if she got second at this race. So, yeah, Jess McClain was absolutely lowballing Truett. Very funny.
Jess McClain shows up to races and runs so well. She has
Oh, yeah.
she's really impressive, and she's coached by David Roche. And I know I've sent you, I think, a while ago. He did this awesome article that was like 90 days of training before the Boston Marathon. Um, and it was really, really good stuff. Like basically he highlighted every single workout and long run. He didn't do every day of training, but he did every
Just like,
workout and long run.
yeah. Wow. I need to check that out. I don't know if I remember reading that. So
Maybe I
that is
never, if I'll send it to you.
that sounds like do you remember like Scott Fauble did that for his one of his Boston builds? He like wrote a whole book about it.
I love that book.
Really, I haven't read it. I need to check it
Oh,
out.
it's really good. It's really good.
Nice. Back when 209 was like crazy stuff for an American.
He was getting seventh in New York or Boston or both or something.
he, yeah, Charles Hicks runs 204 in a second marathon at Boston. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. That's just it's all Scott Faubles were in those OG Hoka Rocket X or whatever. So those were the key, I guess, back in the
That's
day.
right.
I bet those things would feel horrible if you wore them now. Can you
It'd
imagine?
be probably, yeah, stiff as a board.
Dude, one of my buddies who I've been giving the Nomeo to for his daughter, he's got some size 10 Alpha Fly 2s. Never wore the Alpha Fly 2s. Most people hated those. But Tiger Bennett and said they were his favorite super shoe ever. So I'm interested to see how they feel. We'll see.
I just saw,
Try.
it's funny you mentioned that shoe. I sent a picture of this to the Discord, but I was at a thrift shop and I had a 0 miles pair of Alpha Fly 2s in my hand. They were a 10.5, so they didn't fit me,
Wow.
but I was thinking about that pod when the guy said that.
He should have bought them and just stored them. Someone's going to want them one day. They'll pay
Yeah,
over for sure.
right?
Yeah. But all right, we can do some little training talks. I know you had some good like kind of bounce off topics as well with I didn't listen to the Marius Bakken interview on Let's Run. They were hyping it up nicely on there, so I'm curious to hear what he had to say from you. Um yeah, let's actually start with that because I think that would translate into the other stuff we have. So what did Bakken say in that interview about Thresh? He's the
I
he's the father of Double T, isn't he?
Yeah, at least for our purposes, he is. I mean, there's like a lot of iterations of it, right? But like college kids do it probably just by like running too hard in the morning of a workout. It's like stuff
Yes.
like that.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting because he talked a lot about how the muscular system is so important for training and for running, and like that's often overlooked. We're thinking like about the heart and the lungs so frequently but not enough about the muscles, like. And he said once you understand that, the way you think about training might look different. So like we've all felt this. It's like you feel like you're breathing okay, that's not the problem, but your legs are really heavy, like you can't turn over anymore. So like he was trying to think, how do we build that muscular endurance without like wrecking ourselves and not being able to recover between sessions? Cause like, you know, you go and run a really hard VO2 max session. Like if you want to go and do 20 quarters at, 3K, 5K pace, like that's a really tough ask and it's going to take you a very long time to recover. And you've done 5 miles worth of work, and that might be the only thing you can do for the week. So
Yeah, yeah.
his thing was like, what if we pull that intensity way, way back? And he was looking at like Kenyans and just not even really knowing what they were doing, but being like, oh, they don't look very stressed when they're doing these workouts. Like they actually look really controlled. And why aren't we doing that, in the West? So it was like, what if we do, an AM session, a PM session, a double threshold? It's what we hear about Jakob, right? So like we're going to do a double threshold on Tuesday, run, and, a lot of people miss this point too, like run very, very easy on Wednesday so I can recover and then hit another double T on Thursday.
Yeah.
And then there's that like X session where now you're doing something more race specific, probably on Saturday.
Saturday.
So
And then
like,
they do easy long run Sunday usually. Yeah.
yeah. But that
Yeah.
I've always found that to sound like uh I guess if you're a pro, it's a little bit of a different story, but like that is so much work.
It's
Like
a
I
lot
have
of
a hard
work.
time wrapping my head around that. Um,
Dude, I mean, I was listening. Do you know Narv Nordas? He's like that really good Norwegian guy that Jakob's dad was coaching for a while.
no, I don't
After
think so.
he's like he made like some world finals in the 1500 5K, but he was kind of the second best Norwegian guy there for a while. And someone asked him in the interview, is like, "What's your normal training schedule look like with Jakob's dad?" And he was like, "We do double T like twice a week, and then I usually race on the weekend, and like that's most of my speed work is just like doing the like
Yeah.
1500 like races." But then like if we have an off week from a race, then maybe I'll hit a more specific session on the weekend or whatever. But he was like, a lot of it's just threshold. And then he was a sub 330 1500 guy. He's still racing. He's still pretty good. But yeah, I thought that was always interesting that he was like, yeah, like most of my training is threshold, and then most of the specific stuff is just racing. But then if I don't
Mm.
have a race, then yeah, I'll do a more specific like session to replace it. But yeah, I don't know. I thought that was interesting. I need to listen to that Bakken interview. I'd be curious to hear what he had to
It
say.
was good. I actually went back and I listened to like the meat of it twice. And
Nice.
there were still a few things that he said that I really couldn't wrap my head around because he was talking about like how doing different types of sessions could actually be a detriment because of the recovery
Mm,
time. At least that's what I took it as him saying was like, okay, if you just know that this is your threshold and like you're going to run this twice today and then twice 2 days from now, like that's very controlled. And it's probably part of the reason you see Jakob do a lot of stuff on the treadmill. But like for people that are less experienced, like if you go out and you're running threshold and 10K and 5K and all these different paces that like the recovery becomes very unpredictable. And that's where you can run into issues. Um,
yeah.
so he is like all in on threshold where like I
Mm,
actually prefer to switch up the paces and do more like different sessions. But
yeah.
maybe that's because if we're doing a double threshold, it's like the only thing we're doing that week, and then there's a long run. And then if we're doing a CV workout or like a critical velocity, critical speed workout, like that's it. Um,
Yeah.
versus trying to pack in like 3 workouts a week, like a lot of pro systems will do.
Yeah. And I think I made like a video about my thoughts on like double threshold, LT1, LT2, or on YouTube. And, I was saying like when the pros do like two double Ts a week, it's like very careful, like LT1, they're testing, making sure the lactate's not going over 2.0 in the morning session. And then they'll do the LT2 in the afternoon. But a lot of times during a marathon build, and I give the example, like Rory said this, he was like, most of the time I have like, either that's my midweek session or I have like a very like B session, like shorter, like fast, like not a real workout, like glorified strides kind of workout.
Yeah.
And then he'll do like two kind of more LT2 instead of like the LT1, LT2. But yeah, that's kind of the difference is I think that makes more sense to do like the LT1, LT2 if you're going to do twice midweek and then do a like specific session on the Saturday and then your long run's easy. But yeah, and like a marathon build, like you gotta your long run has to be the most important part of the week for sure with the marathon. So yeah, doing two double T's midweek like doesn't always make sense to like for conduce like to make your long run as good as it could possibly be and get the most out of it. So
Yeah.
yeah, um, and it's funny because guys like Tin Man, he was like the CV guy, like critical velocity guy. Jeff Cunningham, critical velocity like is the way. But now like Drew Hunter and the Tin Man group, like Drew's parents coach them, and they're all about threshold now. Like they've ditched the critical velocity. I mean, I'm sure they still do some 10k pace work, but yeah, like they're all about double T now. So it's interesting. But I think like to your point, there's a lot of different routes to the same end goal for people for sure.
Yeah.
So
I think the part that's a little more interesting is like what you had texted me was like CV versus VO2 work.
yeah,
Because that's where I think you can get a lot out of critical velocity training is like not so that's like 30 to 40-minute race pace probably for
yeah,
most people.
around
Um,
10k. Yeah,
yeah, they're 10K for like a well-trained athlete. So like
yeah,
that is still really hard. It's probably more akin to like, okay, if you're going to do threshold work, it's about like accumulating volume and doing a lot of it at a very sustainable pace where like critical velocity is like, how much can I get in without crossing that line?
yeah,
So you're actually trying to get closer to the line there. Um,
yeah.
where like
It's some.
VO2,
Oh, yeah, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I was just gonna say like Cunningham has made a good point. I've seen a clip from his podcast where he was like, you know, VO2, you can definitely you can't do as much volume when you're doing a VO2 session, and there's a higher probability that doing VO2 you're going to get injured or like cause a little knick-knack injury doing that. But if you just take like that little step back to critical velocity, with VO2 as well, you need a lot longer rest. Critical velocity, you can do more volume. There's less injury risk. The rest can still be fairly short as well. So, and I'd have to like look at the research, but my understanding is like the benefit, unless you're like really training for like 5K specifically, maybe it makes sense to like hammer VO2. But if we're training for like half marathon, it's just like, critical velocity like might make more sense, especially if you're hammering huge weeks. Granted, I just did
Yeah.
800s at VO2 last week, so there's still a place for it, especially if you're someone that like speed is like your biggest setback in your training, like myself. So, but yeah, the argument is like you can get higher volume in, less injury risk, and you get pretty similar like benefit to VO2. So it makes
Yeah.
sense to do for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's sort of like get yourself someone that can do both, right? Like it hits
yeah,
both ends. It hits the threshold, it hits the VO2 end where like I I agree with you. Like if you're very 5K specific, you probably need a few specific sessions when you're like with it inside of like 5 or 6 weeks to your race. But like I've really leaned towards like tack on like 6 by 200 or like a couple 300s at the end of a threshold workout and make those like short little VO2
yeah.
sessions.
Low
I'm
risk. Yeah,
talking like, yeah, low risk, or you do like you were talking about the B session for Rory or Jacob. Like you go and you do like 10 by 30-second hills at 3K, 5K effort. Don't worry about
yeah.
the pace. Just run it to effort.
Dude, like yeah, Vinny Mari's week was he would hammer a Sunday long run with his friends at in Pittsburgh, right? Like they just do like a long, like progressive, like steady effort most weekends. Sometimes they do some marathon pace intervals, but yeah, most of it was just like, all right, let's just hammer 20 to 25 miles in my mega blast and like
Yeah.
not much structure to it. Tuesday, double T. And then on like Thursday, I think he would do 150s on the track, just like a few 150s really hard. So there was no actual like, we're doing a VO2 or critical velocity workout today. It was like all of the actual work was marathon pace and slower on the long run day. And then, was he actually staying within threshold on threshold days? I'd have to go look and see like what paces he was running, but I would assume he was because he was doing like 24-mile days within those. But yeah, like most his training was like almost purely aerobic minus doing like some 150s at the end of his easy run 1 day a week. So, and he ran 205. So,
Yeah.
uh, granted, he's like pretty talented as well at the speedier stuff, I think. So,
Yeah, that's probably one of the differences between like the elite crew and then our like sub-elite groups is like the elites are just so fast. Like they don't need a ton of reinforcement in to
yeah.
keep that speed. We're like, we might need a little bit more, but I still think it can be done in small doses rather than like gigantic glory workouts.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think just touching on it, especially as we like are more focused on the marathon, I think just touching on it every now and then is good. But yeah, every once a month or something, some critical velocity or VO2 for guys like me and you. That speed is like our best route to we're big aerobic guys already, like big aerobic bases, 100+ mile weeks. Speeds
Yeah.
definitely are like next lever to pull for getting faster. But yeah, so it's important for people like us to do it once a month. But yeah, maybe
Oh,
safer to go critical velocity.
you gave me a good one this week.
Yeah, that's like
It's like
a
12 5K working down from threshold to critical velocity.
yeah, but the rest gets longer every
Yeah.
set, so that's good. Yeah, so it'll get
Yeah.
harder, but the rest will get longer. So hopefully the effort doesn't change like a ton throughout the workout is the idea. And the weather's
Mm,
looking better this week, so we'll see.
yes.
That'll be a good one. The last thing I wanted to ask you about was how do you like the or I want to hear your thoughts on the uphill double threshold.
I I liked it. I think it's like I need to do it again. I have to get to know it better.
Yeah.
I don't know if you felt that way. But like it took
Yes, I did.
me I did it as the PM session. I did 10 by K in the morning and then I ended up doing 6 by 5 minutes in the afternoon. Um and just like mechanically it feels so easy, which is confusing because like your heart rate gets up, but you're not really moving your legs crazy quickly.
Yeah.
Um, so I think it took me like 3 reps to find the right speed and get my heart rate to where I wanted it. And I am not a big like look at my heart rate guy. I actually never do. I'm like, I'll check it out after the fact sometimes, but
Yeah.
I don't really like looking at my heart rate during a workout. But for that one, I actually, I'm on my treadmill. I have it like as like the
Yeah.
main screen on my watch.
You kind of
And I
have
think,
to like figure out what pace is right for you doing that,
yeah,
unfortunately. So yeah, it's
but I
tough.
get it. I really do. I finished that and I'm like, oh, I completely understand why like you could do 10 or 12 by 5 minutes at 6% grade and shoot for like a 170 heart rate. Like it, I did not feel too beat up after it. Like it actually surprisingly went by pretty quick. I thought a 5 minute interval was going to feel really long and it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Um,
It
so
goes by fast for me too, for sure. Yeah. Like doing 50 minutes of interval work on there. Yeah. It goes by pretty fast. I like have YouTube on or something, but
yeah,
I, I will say it is hard for me to get my heart rate up for a couple reps. But I just kind of got to mess with the pace. Like the first time I was assigned it, he said like 720 pace, and my heart rate was like not going over 160. But this time I did it closer to like 650, and it was
yeah,
it was pretty solid. Like I probably averaged high 160s, and my like LT2 max would be like 175 probably. So
yeah.
it was more of like a LT1 to LT2 progression. But but I think maybe that was a good thing because I had like a really long progression that weekend, and that was like definitely the key workout of the week. So good work, but not like anything crazy hard. So yeah,
Have you done it
but
again or was that the only time?
That was so the last time I did it was the second time, like
Okay,
2
okay.
weeks ago. So yeah, so definitely ran faster average pace, like climbing this time than last time, just because last time I knew like I needed to start faster. And then one of the big things for me was putting a fan on myself because I got disgustingly sweaty the first time. And
Oh yeah.
like, yeah, the fan was like, if you're working hard on your treadmill at all, like, and I have, like vinyl, like the fake faux wood floors or whatever. I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
it's just
same.
gross. Like, I don't want a puddle of
Yeah.
sweat on it. So I don't know. If it was like a concrete floor in my fridge or my garage, like, I don't care. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
like in the house. So don't like a sweaty mess. So yeah.
Do you like it as a standalone, that might be the wrong word, but like as a single session in the day, or do you think it has a place as like a double session?
I think double session is, I mean, if you're going to do like 10 to 12, it could be a solo session, a single
Yeah,
session, but
yeah.
I think it works great as a second afternoon session to do, 6 to 8 of them. I think like that's a great replacement for the second session. So, or, you could do, you know, 8 of them in the morning and then go out to the track or something or the road and do like 400s in the afternoon.
Yep.
Um, I think it kind of fits either way. So, no, I like it. I understand, like, definitely less beat up after it. So, but the heart rate gets there. So, it makes sense. Yeah, I like it. So, it's good
Yeah,
stuff.
definitely a very, very arobic saturation type of workout. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, yeah. I still haven't listened to one episode of The Swap. So, I'll have to, I'll have to check it out. I asked a couple other people. My friend Corbin, he was like, yeah, they make a couple he I wouldn't say like naughty jokes, but like he's like kind of got like a slightly vulgar personality. And I've asked a couple people, other people in that, and they're like, yeah, like he makes some jokes like that, but like he's just goofing around. I was like, I'm
They
surprised. I haven't seen enough of them, but I was surprised. I thought that was funny.
it's like a super science-based podcast, but he has a really, really good funny personality. It can be a bit of an
Nice.
acquired taste at first, and they know that. They call themselves
Yeah.
out on it. But if you listen to them long enough, you start to love them for it.
Yeah. I mean, I just watched the new season of Tires on Netflix, the entire thing over the weekend. So
Oh, I got to
I'm
get on
down
it.
for some vulgar humor. It's no problem at all. So
Yeah,
yeah.
very, very different vulgar humor, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anything else? Did we miss any topics, dude?
No, I don't think so. That was great.
What time is your AC getting fixed?
Dude, any second now. This guy,
Oh, was it
it,
3? Was it
I
3:30 or
I
4:30?
3:30.
Oh,
I came
nice.
back
Cool.
I came back from Portland and I go into like the laundry area and there's like a quarter inch of water like all around the thing. It was
Oh,
just like it wasn't even
dude.
on, but it was just leaking the whole time. Um,
Yeah.
and then there was a pipe leaking, so we had like all sorts of stuff happen while we were gone.
Jeez. Ugh. Dude,
But
house stuff is the most like annoying thing for sure. Like,
oh,
it's just you got enough going on in your life, and it's like something happens, and yeah,
yep.
like with the house, and it's just like, oh my gosh, didn't have time to deal with
Yeah,
this.
we've been in the house 7 years, so we're at the point where like it now needs maintenance, and that's like the worst thing. It's like not fun at all.
Worst. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no fun. Our house is like 2 years old, and the second things start happening, I'm just gonna move for sure. I'm out of here. Our first house is
Just jump ship.
like my first house 6 months in. I was 23, and the AC crapped out. I spent like $7,500 on like a brand new, like totally the whole AC
Yeah.
system, and I was just like, man, like owning a house sucks. And yeah, I was like, I'm getting out of here before it needs a new roof and all that kind of stuff. Threw a backsplash up there and, upsold the crap out of it and got out of
Oh
there,
yeah.
bro. So,
I'm bracing myself for bad news. He said it should be an easy fix, but you never know. So
yeah, you never know. Yeah, you never know, but I'm sure it'll be fine. But
yeah, yeah.
nice, dude. First pod with Ashley back at work and only heard the baby a couple times. So we'll take that as a win.
Good work.
It's not bad. My mom's upstairs holding him, and I was like, Mom, if he starts yelling, take him upstairs. This is my job now. So,
It's
but
good,
all
good,
right.
Chris.
it's a fine gig. Yeah, it's a fine gig for sure. But all right, Ryan, thanks for popping on, man. Best of luck with the school year.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
It's coming. All right, Life in Tripod episode 360 something probably. Catch you on the next one. Peace.